Hey everybody, it's Chad with Nobody Else's Auto. Tonight we're going to talk about a really cool selling manual that I got at the Lawrence swap meet this past weekend. But first, jumping over to nobodysplaybook.com, check out what we've got going on over there. Now, let's get in and check out the details of this really cool manual we found at Lawrence. I'm Chad with Nobody Else's Auto. We deal in classic and special interest cars and parts. We have over 1,100 classic cars in our salvage yard, and that's what we do and that's what we love. Thanks for coming by Nobody's Show. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. If you're new, we're glad to have you here. And this is going to be the show for gearheads. We're going to talk about hot rods, muscle cars, customs, classics, trucks, cab overs. We may even get into some of the newer stuff into the 70s and 80s. We're also going to talk about gas pumps, signs, oil cans, toys, all types of automotive memorabilia. Because here at Nobody's Show, this is your show. We're going to be on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 o'clock. Don't miss it. Now let's get into tonight's episode. Hey everybody, it's Chad with Nobody Else's Auto. Tonight we're going to talk about a Chevrolet truck selling manual that I got at the Lawrence swap meet this year, just this past weekend. 1942 Chevrolet trucks, the Gold Book of Truck Values. Back in the day, if you wanted to order a new vehicle, you didn't have a lot of choices for information. You actually had to go to the dealership, pick up a brochure, do some studying on it, maybe talk to your neighbor, talk to a buddy that may have had a truck similar to what you're looking at or a vehicle. You didn't have the internet. You couldn't go in, punch in Chevy truck or Dodge truck or Ford truck and have an overabundance of information. It wasn't there. It didn't happen. You had to go physically to the dealership and get the information. You could pick up a sales brochure that would give you some ideas, but when it really came down to the time of ready to order a vehicle, especially if you were talking about a commercial vehicle that you needed specifically designed to suit your needs of what you needed that vehicle to do, you had to go talk to the salesman. They got a book like this out, and you sat down and you talked about what your business needed and what you needed that vehicle to do to see what they had to suit you. So they get a book out like this, and this is an awesome book. Chevrolet is creating extra value for you. They talk about their engineering, purchasing power, their manufacturing, and then of course their service, just like they do today. None of those are new, even though we hear it today in all the commercials. They've been using it forever. So when you went in to talk to your salesman, you needed to know what kind of truck you needed, what kind of vehicle you needed to do your job. This was for commercial use. You had to have something that was going to suit your needs. So the book like this, they would get it out and they would talk about all the different things that they may have had available that might work, like the panel delivery. And they made these colorful, they made them pretty, they used bright colors, they wanted you to be able to see them, they showed the features off. This is what you had. You didn't have the internet, you didn't have 3D images. You had to use something like this. This book covers all kinds of commercial vehicles, the panel truck, the canopy truck, where the sides literally opened up and you could get your wares out of the sides. And of course, your regular pickup truck also. Light duty pickup. If you just needed a pickup, you had to have the information and the features on it. There's a Suburban. Suburban's not a new concept. It's been around forever. There's the 42. The stake bed trucks. There's the different beds available for your stake bed trucks. And one that we're big fans of and are super popular right now, the COE cab over trucks. There's one being used as a tractor pulling a trailer. There's a cab over with a stake bed on it, which is very similar to the one that we've got. That bed looks a little bit longer than the one on ours, but other than that, it's the identical truck. Something else a lot of people don't think about back in the day, school buses. You could go in and order a school bus chassis. A lot of the bodies were built by different companies, but you had to have a chassis set up for it for the length that you needed and to hold the capacity you needed. As we go through this book, there's chassis cab trucks, Here's the sedan delivery body that was car-based. And here's something that you definitely don't see, was a coupe pickup. It was a 1942 Chevrolet coupe car that didn't have a trunk. It had a pickup bed in it, a small pickup bed. So even if you're not into Chevy trucks, this book is cool, and we're really going to get into show you why this book is cool now. We've talked about the Chevys, we've showed some of the different models. Like we said, this was what they had to sell you a vehicle. So they had to have something that was going to catch your attention and keep your attention and get you to buy. So we're going to get into the technical aspect of the 42 Chevy trucks. And this is what Chevrolet did with this particular book to keep you interested and keep you at that salesman's desk until you ordered. You want to know what the inside of your new 42 Chevy truck is going to look like? Because you've got an older truck and you don't know? The door opens and shows you the cab. So you see you guys sitting here in the truck, the new seat, the new dash, and you're looking at it, oh, that looks nice. They took it one step further. You pull down on the tab and it gives you the details. Insulated headliner. Shows you the springs in the seat. Shows you the glove box open. We'll close up the cab of the 42 Chevy. It's going to show you their plant, their manufacturing, how they're going to get it made. Show you your engine options, how much power was available, what you needed to do, the standard engine, the Loadmaster engine, the economy engine. Gave you specifics on those. Gives you power and torque. Obviously, we're talking commercial vehicles. It needs to be able to get the job done. They need to be able to prove to you that they can get it done, and you don't have the internet. You don't have stacks of car magazines to read. This is what you've got. So now we're going to get into the cooling system. They wanted to show you how it was going to work because you've got to keep them cool, especially on these work trucks. So they had a flow chart that turned that showed you the cooling system to show you that they were going to give you full engine cooling for maximum efficiency. If this thing's sitting on the side of the road overheated, it isn't doing you any good. It isn't working and it's not making you any money. Back to our engine. Four-way lubrication system is what Chevrolet is touting in this ad. Now, how's that going to work? Well, they're going to show you. You turn this wheel, it literally shows the crankshaft going around, it shows the piston and the rod going up and down, and it shows you the diagram and the flow chart of how your engine is going to be properly lubricated. Think of the time and effort it took to design that and put these books together. Here it gets into more of the engine specifics. Here it shows your steering system. You could literally turn the steering wheel and it would show how the gear in the steering gear was going to move to turn your truck. On to transmissions. You've got to get that power to the ground. They showed you what their engines were capable of. They've got to show you that they can get it to the ground and put that power to the ground, to the pavement, and move your loads. So we're getting into the transmission stuff, differentials, and obviously depending on how far you were hauling your load, how heavy of a load you were hauling, and how fast you needed to get it there, depending on which gear ratio you needed in your rear end. So they showed us that too. If you consider a 564 for speed a highway gear, that's what it was back then, because your 822 was your torque gear for low range power. In today's world, that sounds crazy, but that's what they had back then. These were no speed demons, that's for sure. Braking. Your Chevrolet truck has to stop. They want to show you how their braking system is going to effectively get that done, so we've got another diagram. Shows you how their drum brake system works. You literally pull down on the tab, the wheel cylinder expands, pushing the shoes out against the drum. So we're getting the power to the ground, but we've got a heavy load on. How do we know your truck's going to handle it? getting into your suspension. It even shows you the springs, how your spring systems work and where you need to put overloads on. Into your frame, shows you your structural rigidity of your Chevy trucks. And then you get into the specifications to decide which one of those things they just showed you, engines, transmissions, gear ratios, that was going to do the job you needed to do. And that's what these charts were for, to help you pick out which one of those worked for what your specific application was going to be. Same thing here, dimensions. If you were buying a truck that you needed to put a specific bed on the back, you needed all these dimensions to know what chassis and what frame you were going to need to be able to order the truck that was going to be right for you. And then at the end, you got to pick your color. There wasn't a ton of them, but that's what was available, so you could pick out the color of your new Chevy truck. This is a really cool book. We've got a lot of dealership selling albums, selling manuals with this type of information. These are very hard to come by. They were typically one, maybe two to a dealership. They typically got thrown out at the end of the year when they got the new one. So not a lot of these survived. They're great pieces. They always had great illustrations in them because they're trying to sell you a vehicle. We've got a lot of different ones, lots of 50s ones, lots of 60s ones. There's going to be great information, great material for future episodes, but we just found this one, and the movements, the way they had the chart set up where you could turn them and pull to show off the new features really stood out. We were really excited about it, so wanted to share that one with you tonight. And thanks for watching, everybody. One more quick note, don't forget, we've got our oil can drawing coming up. If you didn't catch the live last week, we're going to give these oil cans away next week to anybody who likes, shares, and tags friends in our posts on that video from last week. Like and tag as many people as you want. We're trying to build it up. We appreciate your help. We're going to send some lucky winner all 4 of these cans. So anyway, that'll catch us for tonight. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate you being here, and we'll catch you on the next episode.